In this video, we're going to take a look at proving lines parallel. Now, we've already talked about solving for parallel lines, so identifying different angle types, solving those different angle types, things like that. What we're going to move forward here with is proving the lines parallel. Say I have two lines, what do I need to know for sure that they're parallel? So we're kind of working in the opposite direction here. Now, let me show you how this works, okay? Because it's a little bit hard to explain, but I think when you see a few problems, it'll make a little bit of sense. So we want to know, remember this symbol right here means parallel. We want to know what makes B and C parallel. So I've got one angle right here, right? I've got the 119. And what I want to know is what other thing do I need? What other thing do I need to be true for these things to be parallel? Well, they're giving me four options here. And let's just take a look at them one at a time and see if they make sense. So the first one says angle 4 is 119. Now, the first thing for this to work is we need a true statement. So the first thing we want to know is it true? So let's just take a look. Angle 119 and 4, are those supposed to be equal to each other or supplementary? Well, I think they're supposed to be supplementary, right? I've got 119 and I've got angle 4 here. Those look like they're not the same size. So are they the same size? No. So is angle 4 equal to 119? No. That is not true. So we can just get rid of it. All right, so the second thing we're looking for is, let's take a look at number 2. So I've got 119 here. Is that true? Is angle 2 equal to 119? No, that's also going to be a supplementary angle. So that's not true either. Let's look at number 5. Is angle 5 119? Yeah, those are vertical angles, right? We know vertical angles are equal to each other. They look the same size. Those angles are open the same amount. Okay, so we've got something that's true. The second thing we need is that we need it to be helpful. And this is what I mean by helpful. We need to have an angle on each line. Okay, so I've got an angle here on line B, and this one's also on line B. Do I have anything happening over here on line C? I don't. If I'm going to prove lines parallel, I need at least one angle on line B and at least one angle on line C. So even though 115 is true, we're not just asking for what is true, we're also asking for which one makes them parallel. So it has to be true, and then we also have to have one on each line. So let's look at D here. This should be our answer. Okay, those are alternate exterior angles, right? So that checks out. They look the right size, they look the same size. And then I have one on B, I've got one in this set, and I have one on C. So that is my final answer. I need it to be true, and I need one on each line. That's what I'm looking for. So let's take a look at this next one. Instead of giving us angles, they give us pairs, okay? Now let's start from the bottom here. Let's start with D. Okay, angle 3 and angle 1. Are these two angles the same size? No, there's no way those are the same size. One's an acute angle, less than 90, one's an obtuse angle, so that's no good. What about 2 and 4? Are 2 and 4 the same size? No. Even though I have one on E and one on F, they need to be true before I can use them, all right? Same here, okay? 6 and 2. They're the same size, but I don't have any on this E set. So it should be A here. Let's take a look. I've got 6 and I've got 1. Notice that's a corresponding angle pair. And we know that they're supposed to be equal. They look the same size. I've got one on E, one on F, so that's going to be my final answer. All right, so we've looked at ones that are supposed to be equal to each other. Look at what this next set is offering us. This next set is offering us ones that add up to 180. What do we call two angles that add up to 180? We call them supplementary. Remember, angles and parallel lines are either equal or supplementary. So in this case, I'm not looking for angle 1 and angle 3 to be equal to each other. I'm looking for them to be different sizes. All right, so let's take a look at this first one, angle 1, angle 3. Those two are vertical angles. We know they're equal to each other, but I actually want them to not be equal to each other because I want them to add to 180. So it's not A. That's not even true. There's not even one on each line. And this is an I. I know it looks like a J. Some people get confused there. All right, 8 and 2. Okay, are 8 and 2 two different sizes? No, those are the same size, so that's no good either. All right, 4 and 7. Okay, do I have two different sizes? Here's an acute angle, there's an obtuse. All right, check one box off. Do I have one on each line? Do I have one on H and one on I? I do. So this is going to be my final answer, is going to be C here. We could double check the last one, but that's going to be 3 and 7. Notice 3 and 7 are the same size, so that's not going to be the correct answer. So when you're working, we're not going to do any of these grid problems, okay? These problems can get harder, but here's what you're looking for. Is the statement true? Is it, if it's equal, they should look equal. If they add up to 180, they should not look equal. So is the statement true, and then do I have one on each line? That's what we're looking for. Now there's a second type of problem. So the first set of problems, we're kind of covering two different types of problems in this video. The second type of problem looks something like this. You get one line going across, remember this is called a transversal, line B would be a transversal, and then you get these three lines, R, S, and T. And they want to know which of these lines are parallel. And we do so by solving for missing angles. So let's do this. Notice how I have 99 and 101. I've got them in, I could think of like the bottom right corner, and 81 is in the top right corner of this set right here. Let's get this 81 down here. How do I solve for that angle right there? Well, they add up to a straight line, so I'm going to do 180 minus 81. All right, and I end up with 99. So if I have matching angles in the same spot, just kind of like before, then I know that we're in business here. And take a look, 99, 99, 101. Which two are parallel? Well, R, we're going to use our parallel sign, is parallel to S. Okay, does that make a little bit of sense? You've got to solve sometimes. Sometimes you have to solve two different things. Sometimes you have to solve a little bit. But once you solve, then you just check and see which ones match. So we did bottom right corner here. All right, same thing here. Notice our first one's in the top left corner. So let's go ahead and solve, solve for all of them in the top left corner, okay? So this 112, that's vertical, so that's 112. And then let's get this 58 over there. Let's solve that missing one. So 180 minus 58, and I get 122. All right, so which two match? I've got 122 and 122. I get X is parallel to Y because I've got the 122 here and the 122 there. All right, hopefully this is making a little bit of sense. Let's take a look at maybe one or two more here, and then we'll let you guys get to your work. Okay, we'll do one more. Again, we're going to skip these grid ones. Normally we'd cover them, but we're going to keep it a little bit simpler for this week. All right, so I've got one in each corner, so I could really go any direction I want. Excuse me, there's something in my throat here. Let's do top left corner. So 119, 119. Okay, we're just going to put everything in the top left corner. So we're going to look for that guy there, and we're going to look for this guy right here. Now, here's an important thing with this. This is what where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people go, oh, if that's 119, then this is 119, and this is 119, and this is 119. Okay, normally we'd be able to do that if we were dealing with parallel lines. If we knew that they were parallel lines. We don't know if they're parallel lines yet, so you have to just kind of stay at home with your set. This 61 works with this set, this 61 with that set, 129 with that set, like that. You're not allowed to jump sets in this sort of problem. All right, so let's go ahead and solve. So 161, those are supplementary, so 180 minus 61, and I get 119. Oh, that looks familiar. But wait, there's more. I could solve that 61 right there, and I would also get 119. So what do we find? Well, which lines are parallel? Well, B is parallel to D, which is parallel to E. I actually have three lines here that are parallel because I've got three 119s. All right? So our goal here, with the first set, figure out, is it true? With the second set, with the first set, is it true? And then, does it help me? Do I have one on each line? The second set is a little bit different. We have to solve for a matching angle, solve for a matching corner the whole way through, and then just match up the ones that make sense. So that wraps up the review. You can go ahead and try the Google form. The Google form's got a little bit of a mix of different sorts of problems. It also has a few identifying problems. You still need to be able to recognize alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, corresponding. You still need to be able to recognize those along with doing some of these problems. Feel free to use your notes. Okay, take your time, do it well, because I do want to see you get a good number of them right for full credit. So this wraps up our lesson on proving lines parallel.